Right, hi everyone. I'm Lisa, and I'm a compulsive eater. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day off the grey sheet. I write the meals down. I call them into my sponsor. I don't eat in between, no matter what, and I eat what I've committed, no matter what. And abstinence is the most important thing in my life, and I can say that today. Um, Starting off, I've been in recovery in a another 12-step fellowship for I think 15 and a half years clean off heroin, which was a battle. And during being in that fellowship, I always felt this. I was clean off drugs, but I felt like I was still using. I felt like I was still using, and I kind of hear in there, you put the drugs down and you pick the fork up, and that's what I did, and I could not stop eating. I just ate and ate and ate and ate. Um, I've tried so many different diet clubs, pills, potions, class A's. I've tried everything to lose weight. Even when I was on heroin, I was never a skinny heroin addict. I was never a skinny heroin addict because I would shoplift the sweets, the sugary stuff, and I would just gorge and gorge and gorge on all that sugar. And that's what I haven't got my teeth in tonight, so apologies for that. I've got a virus, and my gums are really sore, but you know I'm all right with that. And yeah, so that's what I did. I just ate and ate sugar. I never ate proper meals. I just ate sugar. So in the other 12-step fellowship, my sponsor was in there, and she was getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and I was like, wow, what is she doing? And so she spoke to me about grey sheet, and I was thinking, oh, that sounds a bit much. That's a bit much. That's a bit hard. Oh, how do you do that? But what I was doing was living off aloe vera juices and tablets, and that not like these supposed to be vitamin type of tablets, and it was costing me a hell of a load of money for no result, and for me, I came into Grey Sheet. God, I was trying to think. It must have been about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. Um, and I got abstinent for 2 years. And what that did for me was it catapulted my recovery. Um, and I've heard it said something about it sends it into another like dimension. My recovery became more, it was richer, it was cleaner, and I was living life better. And what happened there with me is that I started not wanting to come to meetings. I got dishonest around my food because I am a lying, thieving cheat when it comes to food. That's what I do. Um, and what I've done, like all the recovery I've got in the other fellowship, when it comes to food, I use food like drugs. And what I was doing was I remember babysitting for my granddaughters, and I was in their piggy banks. Like they had these piggy jars with money in, and I was stealing money out of them so I could go down the shop and go and buy the food that I don't eat. Um, Everybody's birthdays, I would want to go and buy the big thing that everybody eats for the birthdays, and the excuse was, well, I just want to do something nice for everybody, and I want to buy them this because I'm such a nice person. That wasn't real. It's because I liked that. And I remember my son's engagement, and I brought him this lovely big what we don't eat, and they come away from the venue and left it there, and I found out they'd left it there, and I raced to the venue, got it, didn't bring anything else back, only that, and I sat with that for about 2 days, just chopping it, eating, and not even realising I was doing it. That is how compulsive I am. It was my hand was never away from my mouth. It was just always something in my mouth. And then my son phoned me up and asked me where it was, and I thought, "Oh, what am I gonna say to him? Near enough half of it's gone. There's about 2 layers of it gone." And, I says, "Oh, do you know what? I've got some of it here, but it kind of melted and it went a bit funny, so I had to chuck it out." And the shame and guilt around that, I still have that now. I'd steal food from my mum and dad's. I'd steal food from people at work. Um, yeah, round food, I am dishonest, and I have a lot of shame and
Lisa, you muted yourself.
Hey, me. Yeah, give me. I remember going into a supermarket round by me, and I went and brought a load of stuff that we don't eat, and I went and sat at the furthest part of the car park, just binging, and I know.
It muted again.
Hello, can you hear me? Oh God, sorry. And just binging until I felt sick, and I thought to myself, this is what I used to do when I used heroin. I'd do exactly the same thing in the same spot, and this is what I was doing with food. And I was getting bigger and bigger. I was eating myself to death. And what happened with me is I went to a convention with the other fellowship. I hadn't kept up with my calls in GreySheet, my meetings in GreySheet, and then I picked up the food, and it's taken me probably 4 years to come back to continue it. It's like day ones. And what with me is, I'll pick up the food and then I'll go off again and think I can sort it again. I'll get on something else and I can sort it again. And it doesn't work like that for me. I know that I am a compulsive eater, and I know that Grey Sheet is the only thing that works for me. I know that. My experience shows me that. And I was eating myself to death, and that's not dramatic. It is. It was like I was going to the doctors, and my I, I was borderline everything, borderline diabetes, but like my cholesterol, blood pressure, everything was going borderline. And I remember thinking, do you know what, this I need to sort this out. I really need to sort out what I'm doing, because if I don't, I'm gonna die. And I've been watching my dad. I've been watching my dad. He's on dialysis at the moment, due to diabetes. And and that's what he's et himself into that, he's et himself into that place. And I remember thinking, I don't want to do it. And I'd wake up every morning whilst binging saying, God, please help me. And but never being able to do it. I'd make probably an abstinent breakfast, and then I would fall again. And then I would be too embarrassed to come back to the meetings. I'd be too embarrassed. But do you know what I've found, and what I know now to be true is, people want to see you back. It doesn't matter how many times you fall. People are not judging you. People want you here. They want the best for you, and they want you to get abstinent. And I came because, first of all, and I heard this said in the fellowship, I came because the vanity, and I wanted to be skinny, and I wanted to get all the clothes, and I wanted this and that. But what I learnt was, I stayed because of the sanity. I stayed because of the peace that I get in my head because of Grey Sheet. I'm not waking up every morning thinking, have I got enough money to go and buy this stuff to go and binge on this? And what am I going to eat? And how am I going to hide it? And who's going to see me? And I was that embarrassed to go into shops towards the end of my binging, because I would imagine the person behind the counter saying, "Oh my God, here's that, here's that fat woman coming back in, stocking up on all the stuff and going out." They probably weren't even saying that, but that's what my shame and guilt was, that much that that's how I felt. I mean, I'll be honest, I've because I've binged that much, I've had to race home and not get to the toilet on time, where I've messed myself, and degrading, degrading. This illness, thank you. This illness for me, this compulsive eating, it's degrading. It really is for me. But to the point of how I look, how I feel. I got to the point of wanting to end it. I don't want to be here anymore. I cannot do this anymore. And I remember at that place, the jumping off point, and I think they speak about that in the big book. That place of like, I just want to jump up. I'm done. I'm done. I can't live like this anymore. And I picked up the phone and I just said, I need to commit my food. And the person on the end of the phone was like, "Yep, just commit your food. Just commit your food." And I committed it, and then by the grace of God and Grey Sheet, I haven't picked up food. I think my sponsor said it was 100 days. And I'm grateful for my sponsor, and she's really helped me try to navigate my food because I've got a health condition going on at the minute. Um, I've got fibromyalgia and I'm suffering with swallowing at the moment. So there were certain foods that I was struggling with. So my sponsors helped me, navigate around that. And that's been a blessing for me because Grey Sheet can, we as long as we're honest and we speak to our sponsor and we can, we don't do it on our own and go off on our own decisions. I can still be abstinent and eat the food. And I love my food. I've been eating the same food for the last 100 days, but do you know what? I love it. And I'll say to my sponsor, I can't believe I've been eating the same food for the last 100 days. But when I was eating the junk food, I was probably eating the same food then for years and years and years. But the only difference is that this is guilt-free eating. It's not going to kill me and it's delicious. I love my food, I really do, and I'm honest with my food now, where before in the past, I would commit stuff and then I'd think, "Oh, do you know what? I don't fancy that. I'll swap it around a bit." And that dishonesty led me back out the door, back to compulsive eating. So I know I have to be honest. And I'm gonna start my step work with my sponsor, which is a blessing because it is in the steps for me. It really is. And I want to look at, why I use food the way I do. At the minute, today I have felt so low. I've had a virus, but I felt so low. It's like the food's gone down now. I'm not shoving them feelings down with something anymore. And I'm left with me and me, and it's like raw, and I feel really vulnerable, and I'm scared. I'll be honest with you, I feel really scared at the minute because I've got all these feelings coming up, and usually I've got four sons, but one's an addict. He's usually in active addiction, so he usually occupies me because I'm too busy trying to sort his life out. I'm busy trying to sort my husband's life out, and they're all sorted at the minute, and I'm like, oh, gotta sort my own life out now, and, without the food, without the drugs, and it's a scary place to be, but you know what? I have got my God in my life, and I've got GreySheeters in my life. I've got meetings, and, I am grateful to be abstinent. If I was having all this going on and I was binging, I would be even more depressed, and to that point again of wanting to kill myself, and I remember that. I don't forget. Honestly, I don't forget where I've come from. I do not forget that feeling that I felt when I picked that phone up and said, "I need help. I need help." It was a dark place, a really, really dark place, and it's not easy. It isn't easy, but it's worth it. And but it does get easier. Like you think, "Oh, I've got to weigh and measure this, and I've got to do this and that." But it does become a way of your life, and I just know this is what works for me. It's the only thing that's worked for me, and I know that, and I know, I'm seeing numbers on the scales that I haven't seen for 4 or 5 years, and it's like, wow, how does that happen? And yeah, I am just grateful for Grey Sheet, and yeah, I think that's about me now. So thanks for listening to me. Thank you.